Our first guest made his Broadway debut at 17 in Dear Evan Hansen and returned to the Tony Award-winning musical at 21 to star in the title role for its closing. As an Arizona native, he has appeared in productions at Goodspeed, Denver Center, Phoenix Theater Company, Chaparral Theatre, and Arizona Broadway Theatre. He made his professional debut as Pugsley in the national tour of the Addams Family and was a finalist at the 2017 Jimmy Awards. Most recently, he starred alongside Andrew Barth Feldman in the world premiere of Joshua Harmon's play We Had a World at Manhattan Theater Center. It's Sam Primack. Hello.
Hey
Welcome
everyone,
to the show. We
what's
are
going
very
on?
excited to have you here. You know this. I've been a fan of you for a few years now. I think like
Thank you.
2022 is when I really got into it, kind of on the
Thank you.
heel of Evan Hansen. So it is awesome to get to talk to you today.
Yeah, you
Um,
too.
yes. So the Jimmy Awards, I feel like we got to start
Classic.
there.
Let's start there. That's
Obviously,
where that's where honestly like half of the people I know's stories start, half of my friends' stories start, my roommate, my best friend. Like it's actually really insane how the Jimmy Circle has, I mean, is now taking over New York.
oh yeah, that's part of what I have here. So you were a finalist with, first of all, Jasmine Amy Rogers.
I mean, how
Incredible.
how does it get any better than
We
that?
It
She's
doesn't.
she's unbelievable. She really is, and her takeover feels like the most duh to me out of anybody that I know. Like from that group, it's so funny. Like her and Antonio Cipriano too, are two people that I remember just watching them and be like, "Oh, you guys are superstars. Like you guys are just so on your path." And I remember hearing through the grapevine about Boop and just like freaking out because I was like, "Well, that's it. That's what it is. That's what like how the world is gonna meet her." And I'm just like I have to go see Spelling Bee. I'm so excited for her.
I'm gonna check out Spelling Bee too when I'm back in
Yes.
January. So I'm super excited just for
Yes.
everybody in that cast, but especially
I
for her.
know.
I had like one chance to see Boop over the summer,
Yep.
and my train was delayed, so I did not get to go see it.
No. It was
It was
amazing. And
terrible. I
she
know.
just was such a star. Like she just like commanded the stage. And I mean, I honestly think that is such a lesson that you learn at the Jimmys is you have your one chance for all of these incredible people, and they really prep you hard throughout the week to conserve and save so they're really able to bring it when it's time. And I feel like that's a big lesson that I've learned about myself, about like it's not always, you don't always have to be at 100, but when you get your moment, take it and take up your space. And I feel like she has really done that, and I've seen a lot of other Jimmy's people do it. And yeah, I think it's amazing.
That's awesome. I'm kind of curious, did you like when you were in high school, were you like, I have to get to the Jimmy Awards, or was it something that just kind of like presented itself? Because I know you talked about like a little bit of kind of the training you had to do like while you were like a part of the Jimmys, but was there
Yeah.
anything that you were kind of doing before to get there, or how did that
I
kind of
wouldn't say
process
that I
look
was
like?
doing anything specifically like to get to the Jimmys. I actually, how it works is like you do your high school musical, and
Mhm.
then there are these little regional programs around the country. And the year that I won, I actually was doing a different show. I didn't even know that I was up for the award, and that I won it. Like I didn't even realize that it was going to be a possibility until someone texted me like, "You're going to New York in 2 weeks." And so it wasn't really on my radar in terms of I wanted to go do it. But here's the funny thing is I knew about it because the years before that, the people who won started
Mhm.
to be on my radar a little bit. I remember Eva Noblezada, her win was like such a big thing because I think she had just got cast in Miss Saigon, and it was like, this girl from the Jimmys. The funniest one is my one of my best friends, who's like a big musical theater nerd, loved the guy who won the year before me. He sang Maria. His name is Josh Strobel, and we used to watch that video, I would say, every day. Like we were obsessed with him. We were obsessed with his voice. We were obsessed with everything about him. Cut to now, he is my roommate, and I've lived with him now for 3 years. He's like one of my best friends, and it's just so funny. Like, and the friend who we used to watch the video came into town recently, and he was like, "Are you living with Josh Strobel?" And I'm like, "Yes, can you believe it?" Like we used to watch that video all the time. So, the Jimmys, the gift of the Jimmys just keeps on giving. And
Yeah.
um but no, I didn't really do any like preparation, I would say, for it.
Mhm.
Um which I think was a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, I had no clue you guys roomed together, but it's funny you bring up Josh because I'm like a huge Outsiders fan. I've seen him like
Yes, yes.
I don't even know a million times in that show. So
I know.
it's like
Yeah.
kind of crazy. Like I didn't realize. So I did like a carpentry apprentice on Long Island this summer. I was at the Gateway,
Cool.
Camp Gateway. We
Oh my
love
gosh,
it.
cool.
But I didn't realize until like I was working that close to New York that like
Yeah.
they really aren't kidding when they're like everybody knows each other. It
No, it's
is
actually
just
insane.
it's wild how connected everybody is, and it's like a little scary, but
The craziest thing now is like I haven't gone to a show in a while that I haven't gone to like see a friend in. Which
mm,
that like growing up in Arizona, like that was just never ever a possibility on my mind. Like
yeah,
even the fact that I know people who are in Broadway shows, and now I know like when I see in a casting announcement, it's like that person and that person and that
right.
person. It's like the pool is only so big, and the Jimmys is such a interesting thing because it's like the kids who were probably the most passionate and the most musical theater freaks and like the people who wanted it so badly are the ones who went to the Jimmys.
Yeah.
And so of course those are also the people that are first in line at auditions and proving to casting directors that they are ones that want to do it. I think there is a real link between that, like want to get to the Jimmys and want to be a
Mhm.
professional actor. And so it doesn't surprise me that there are so many that there are so many people doing it. What does surprise me is like how many people I know here
Mhm.
from that or from other things.
Yeah. What role, I don't remember, what role from high school was the role that like you won the regional award that like got you into
Yes, I
musical?
went for Frank Jr. and Catch Me If You Can
Oh, love
at
that.
my high school. Classic. There's probably
Yes.
three or four boys every year in their like little red vests who like show up and are belting high and it was the Arizona premiere when our high school did it.
hmm
So it was like a really big deal that
Oh,
our high school got to do
yeah.
it. Um so I felt really lucky to have like to have gotten that opportunity. Um, but I love that show, and like so many other wonderful people have played Frank Jr. at the Jimmys too, which I think is really funny.
Yeah. I just saw that show for the first time at the Marriott and had
Isn't it amazing?
a wonderful time. It was I
Yes.
like I had watched the movie, but I didn't know anything about the musical, so I went in like kind of blind for the musical. Like I think I knew
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Yeah.
and that's like
Totally.
it
That's what
because
every
everybody
yeah,
knows
that's
that
the
song.
song.
That's
Yeah.
but it was such a fun show. That's a great one to get to do in high
Yeah.
school. Do you have, it can be that role or a different one, but any role that you played in high school that you would like to revisit now that you are like professional, have a little more
Mm.
experience and like are
I
working in
actually
theater?
hilariously I think it's that. That's the one that
Love.
like as my voice has like matured and grown. I would
hmm
love to be able to like I was reaching for those notes at 16. Like that is a high score for like to try to give a little sophomore in high school to do. I
Oh
like look
yeah.
at the veins in my throat. I'm like you don't have to do all that. So now I'd love to take another stab at that. Also, something I got to do, I just love Spring Awakening so much. I got to play more. It's like the year before my freshman year, and it's just such a good show. And it's one that I just want to do like one more time before an old man and can't do it anymore. I'll play the old man,
Right.
which I would love to do. Fingers crossed one day. But yeah, those are the two that stick out.
It's awesome. I Spring Awakening is my favorite musical that I've actually never gotten the chance to see, so I
You've never
would be
seen it
so down
ever?
for that. No,
Oh my God.
no,
I mean, isn't it just
it's
the best?
terrible. Yeah, I know. And my school has like they do this like storefront series thing where like TLDR students get to like pitch shows that they direct for like the main stage series. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
cool,
like it's
cool.
like fully student run, but it gets like main stage funding and like promotion.
Yeah, cool.
And it's meant to resemble like the storefront theaters in Chicago, but that's kind of gotten lost a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was like wanted to propose Spring Awakening when I got here, but they did it like too recently that I was like they're not going to do that. So
Yeah,
it's
definitely. It's
okay.
so
I
good.
maybe I'll still try, but
One day I
that
hope you
looks
get to
like
because
it's
it's the
it's a
best.
dream just anything show. Like
Yeah,
I would just
definitely.
like to be a part of the show. Like I don't care
Yeah.
what I do for it, but
Quick
hopefully one
tangent,
day.
actually. Fun
Yeah.
fact is that I waited 6.5 hours outside of the 15th anniversary concert that they did a few years ago that they like made the documentary about.
Mhm.
And I got in. I was there. We were the first in line at the cancellation line. And like 2 minutes before the show, someone was like, I can't make it. And we Venmoed some random guy like $200 and like ran in there and got to see the whole original cast do the show. it was incredible. And we're in like the documentary in the first in one of the first
Yeah.
frames you see us like waiting there with the audience. Like it's so funny.
I always say like that I think a fan of theater before I'm somebody who works in theater, and I love hearing stories about, people who like have worked on Broadway that still are very much like just theater nerd before they're anything else. Like I
Definitely.
love that.
I
It's
mean,
awesome.
you gotta love the form of it
Right.
if you're gonna
Mhm.
spend so much time stressing and worrying and devoting your life to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I try to see everything I can. I try to be in as immersed in this community as I can because like those are the people that are making the decisions. Those are the people that like,
Yeah.
those are it really all is interconnected as you were saying before. And so like there is something really wonderful about um yeah, about just like being here and being able to see things all the time.
Yeah, a common thread in kind of the Jimmy Award winners is that they do Dear Evan Hansen. That's kind of the thing, like, oh, if you win the Jimmys, you're gonna go be in
Yes,
Dear Evan Hansen,
totally, totally.
which you did. But were there any
Yes.
other kind of like opportunities, like education or performance, that you got from the Jimmy Awards that people don't really ever credit as like being a product of the Jimmys?
Yes, actually, that's a great question. First of all, on the first point, yeah, it actually is hilarious how many boys from the Jimmys. Like, there was one from every year up
Yeah,
until a few years ago. I personally did not win, but
you were
I will
close.
say
You're
I
close.
was close. I
Close
was close.
enough.
Close enough.
Any
Um,
finalist, really,
but
I
Josh,
feel like
yeah,
gets there.
Josh
Yeah.
down the hall did win, and he likes to rub it in. But no, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, so another thing that happened when I went to the Jimmys is I won this award that basically gave me a full ride scholarship to the Carnegie Mellon 6-week pre-college summer program. I don't know if they do that specific award anymore. I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
but for a few years they got to, and I got to do it the summer of 2018, and
Okay.
it was actually such an amazing gift. I felt very, very lucky that I got to do that. It really propelled me into figuring out college auditions. I got to work with faculty. We were there for 6 weeks. It was kind of like an amazing summer camp that was completely paid for by the Jimmys and um by Carnegie Mellon. And yeah, that is another thing that I got to experience. And I met some amazing friends there that live here
Yeah.
now. And um yeah, I loved that experience. That was a really wonderful summer.
Did you end up going to college for theater at all after that?
I didn't really.
Mhm.
So I started Dear Evan Hansen halfway through my senior year of high school.
Okay.
So I moved, I know, crazy. I
Great
moved
timing.
a great timing, literally. I actually got the job like 3 days before college auditions. So
Oh, okay.
which like what insane timing. Like it was just like the
Yeah.
most insane whirlwind ever. Like I was doing high school, everything was fine. I'm in my high school musical, like
Mhm.
rehearsing every day. I like went to New York for because I had been auditioning for the show since like a few months after the Jimmys. So for like
Okay.
2 years,
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
up until I got the part, and I didn't get the part a few times. Like I was
Mhm.
up for different tracks, and then someone else would get it, and blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah. But I didn't end up going. I decided to go on tour instead of
Mhm.
going to school. And then
Yeah.
I did like a few months at Arizona State during COVID because COVID
Yeah.
happened like right in the middle of my time on tour. So I was home. I really just wanted to be doing something creative and working every day at something. And so I was like, I'm gonna go to school. So I went to school for 1 year on Zoom, and it was
Yep.
great. It was a lot. It was Zoom school
Right.
and doing Zoom tap class in my living room. Like it was just crazy. Um, but that is my answer. Yes, and like kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Walk me through like your Dear Evan Hansen journey from like Broadway and tour, because I think I have a handle on it, but I'm gonna let you say
Yes,
it to make sure that I'm not
yes,
misconstruing
because
anything.
it is a little complicated.
Yes.
It is a little all over the place. Okay,
Mhm.
so 2019, I moved
Yes.
to the city to be a triple cover for Evan, Jared, and
Okay.
Connor on Broadway. I was there for 6 months. Covering Andrew Feldman.
Mhm.
And then I got offered to be the alternate on the tour. So
Mhm.
then I went on tour that summer, and I was there
Mhm.
until March 2020, COVID times. And
Mhm.
then I did another 6 months post COVID. And then and then I took over as Evan in New York for the last 2 weeks of the run, which was supposed to be longer. It was supposed to be a year. And as fate would have it, yeah, the closing notice came in. I did the last 2 weeks, which it was such a whirlwind to do. But yeah, that was my journey with it.
Yeah. So you never covered Connor and Jared on tour. You just went straight to being the Evan alternate on tour,
No,
or did you cover them also on
I
tour?
did cover them on tour. Yeah, I actually
Okay.
went on as Connor twice on tour. And no,
Oh,
I didn't do
awesome.
it in New York at all.
Mhm.
I already covered them, but I didn't get to go on.
Yeah.
It was actually like two freak incidents where they had no one else to do
Mhm.
Connor on tour. That I got to go on. Um, actually having already played Evan at the matinee. So
Wow.
that was a crazy
Mhm.
day. and
Yes.
and David Jeffrey, who played Connor at the matinee,
Mhm.
played Evan at night. So we switched parts from the matinee, which
Mhm.
was the craziest like whirlwind, it like 24 hours ever too. But I did get to do I got to perform as all three.
Okay, I like had a question later that was like, was there anything that you've covered that you've never gotten to go on for that so that kind
Yes,
of
I
answered
have
that.
gotten to go
Yeah,
on for everything that I've covered,
that's
which is very,
awesome.
very lucky.
Yes. And then you also touched on this a little bit. Do you have any like last minute understudy stories besides that one or anything else that was just like
Ooh.
super kind of like chaotic last second being thrown on, or maybe something like before where like you had to do multiple tracks in a day, or if you had any mid show or anything like that?
Totally. I never, honestly, thankfully, never had a mid show, which,
Yeah, that's
um,
my worst
I
nightmare.
was covering some, Stephen Anthony, who was our Evan,
Hmm.
is like a superhuman. So we got to, I felt very lucky when he was in, but I was doing 3 to 4 shows a week because of that. I felt like
Awesome.
if he
Yeah.
was going to commit to doing a show, he was going to do the show. Um,
Yeah.
I had some 15-minute, 20-minute to the show
Yeah.
calls. But I do think that the craziest one, yeah, I started my day as Evan and I was feeling a little sick. They asked me if I wanted to play Evan at the night show. And
Hmm.
to be honest, I figured out in my head, like, they don't have anyone else to do the other track. If
Yeah.
I say that I can't do Evan, but I can do Connor, then I'll get to make my debut tonight. So I they called and I said no, I can't do Evan, but I can do Connor. And then I was sitting next to my friend David, and he was like, "And I'll be playing the role of Evan." And so like we literally and it was little moments like Sincerely Me, where we were like just
Yeah.
in the exact same spots, just flipped. But the weird thing about covering that is like it was different harmony parts. It was like
Yes.
slightly different movements. Like it wasn't that complicated, but it was a little complicated. But thankfully I'd been with the show for like 8 months at that point, so I felt pretty
Yeah.
confident about getting to do the part.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so that was kind of the big one, but nothing that crazy other than that.
I'm a I see a lot of shows, but it's more that I see a lot of performances of the same show. Like I'm those people like if I didn't see a show 3 times, like did I ever see it? Like that's kind of the
Yes,
standard. I set like
yes,
I go all in on things. And I think about that a
no,
lot. Like there's a lot of people that never in the same day, but that I've gotten to see in different tracks that like interact a lot or have songs like Sincerely Me where it's like,
yes.
there's the three different harmony parts and they cover all of them. And it always I just have a hard time wracking my brain around that. Like I
I
cannot
can't
imagine
think.
having to do that.
Three is it was a limit. Like I don't think I could do more than that. People who do 8 or 9 are actually insane, and I actually have no idea how the hell they do that.
Mhm.
Boggles my mind. Um, like they have saved the show hundreds of times. This industry would not be anywhere without people whose brains do that, and it's not for me. But I honestly did love to do it, and I would love the challenge of covering like
Yeah.
that. That would be really fun.
Yeah. Was it so you kind of like you mentioned a little bit like you kind of went back and forth a little bit between like Broadway and the tour. Like was that
Yeah.
difficult at all or was it, like because I know that like with Dear Evan
Yeah.
Hansen like everybody kind of knows everybody who's done that show. So did that kind of
Yeah.
make it easier? Was it still really hard to like go back like being on Broadway and being on the road and then you had COVID in the middle of all of that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a little bit of both. I think
Mm.
the positive about going on tour was I did a tour when I was younger, as you said before.
Mhm.
So I
Yes.
I kind of knew the world a little bit, and and it wasn't that the other tour was like a non-equity, really really tough tour, and so this felt like a lot more achievable, a lot more doable, especially because I knew the show already. And
Yeah.
another fun fact is that I actually saw the tour as a fan, uh, like 3 months before I got cast in the show.
Mhm.
Um, and it just like happened to be the show that I was just in Arizona and it came through and I
Yeah.
had so there was this actually weird full circle. They're like sudden, and I idolized that group of people, like the people who were doing it. I saw Steven, which was crazy. I saw, like all
Mhm.
these people. And suddenly half a year later, I was doing their last show on tour with them,
That's
which was
awesome.
also kind of crazy just to like be like, oh my gosh, what a crazy 6 months this has been, and suddenly I'm here doing it with the cast that I
Mhm.
saw at, in Arizona. The negative was that I really built a wonderful community in New York in my six
Yeah.
months, and I love New York and I loved the company there, and um I like our understudy cover room has like who was there at the time was have gone on to do such amazing things, and
Yeah.
I was spending all this time with Gabby Karuba, who's a great friend, and
Mhm.
Roman Banks, who's Michael Jackson now, and like it's just like all these cool people who at the time this was like everyone's first job. We were playing Mario Kart
Mhm.
backstage every day, so it was like such a sweet job. But thankfully, the tour family that we had in the year that I did it was like a true family, and I actually have made some of my best friends because of that. Um, and so yeah, I wouldn't. I'm really grateful that I did it, but it was sad to say goodbye at the time.
Oh yeah. Do you have any like people that you never got to go on with that you wanted to do like a specific show with that just never
Mm,
happened like for an audience?
That is a really good question. I never got to do it with Josh. Josh and I never got to do the show together. We did like a rehearsal or two together, but I
Yeah.
never got to. And we became very close right as the show was
Hmm.
closing, so we never got to go on together. Um, that's a good question. I did get to do it with a lot of great people.
Hmm.
Someone that I thought I was never gonna get to do it with, who was Mallory Bechtel, who played Zoe
Hmm.
with Andrew. And I only did the show when I went on in New York. I only did the show with Gabby, so I never got to do it with her. And then
Yeah.
wait, you saw it? Did you see us?
Yes,
Yes.
I was there that
Okay.
Sunday.
Yes, that's
That
right.
Sunday
That's right.
night.
I'm
Yeah.
remembering that. Okay, so that's so crazy. So literally,
Yeah.
Mallory's amazing,
Oh yeah.
so talented, and I kind of went into the tour being like, well, I guess I'll never get to do the show with Mallory. And
Yeah.
then and actually I'm gonna tell you a really funny story. So
Yes.
she she gets asked to come to the tour because our
Hmm.
our Zoe gets COVID. And like two
Yeah.
days in, we're all hanging out at a park and I break my toe. My toe is bright purple. So I'm spending the whole week like my Saturday and Sunday shows are coming up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to get to do it. And
Yeah.
like Friday comes around, I'm starting to be able to walk again. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do the show. So the show that you saw, I don't know if you could tell, but I completely my toe was bright purple, wrapped up to like my entire foot was wrapped up. Like everyone was like, you should not be doing the show right now. I'm like, I want to do it with Mallory. Like this is my chance to do it with Mallory. And
Yeah.
so um yeah, anyway, long story short, you saw a really actually wonderful
That's
show
great.
that I was my toe was broken for.
No, yeah, I had like I'm in like a Discord server and there was like a Dear Evan Hansen channel in there and everybody was like,
Yeah.
Mallory's coming back, like somebody has to go, like
Like it's
anybody,
gonna be
like can
me.
people show up? And I was like,
That is
let me
amazing.
check. So I went into my brother's room. I was like what are you doing Sunday? Like, are you
Yeah,
busy
yeah.
Sunday night? And I was like, get your girlfriend, drive me 2 hours to Madison,
Yeah.
go do stuff for 2.5 hours while I go see the show, and then drive me back that night so I can go
That
go
is
to the show.
amazing.
And that is the only time I've seen Dear Evan Hansen. So it was
Wow, that
yeah,
is crazy. That is so
yeah.
crazy.
It was worth
But
it though. It
I
was
mean,
such a good
one of the
performance. I had
joys
a
of
great
that
time.
show is that um the eight people that you saw in the
Mhm.
show um was constantly so different, and there was always we always had covers on, and we always had understudies and new people, and so like,
Zelena was on that night too, right? For
oh, was
Alana.
she for Alana?
I think
Probably.
there was an Alana cover
Wow.
on too
I
that I
mean,
remember.
the
Good
fact that
show.
you even got to see a show with me, Mallory Bechtel, and
Right.
Elena, like
Yeah.
it's so that is so crazy. And so that was one of the joys of that small cast, was that you really could have seen anyone on any night, and it made the show wildly different.
Mhm.
And so yeah, but I think actually Mallory is the person that I would say for that.
Yeah, no, she was lived up to the hype.
Yeah,
I will say that. She was
she was
I
great.
had a lot of people were like, you just like have to go see her. And I was
You
like, all
have
right,
to
I'll
see.
listen.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, but that's awesome
that
and
is
that
such a
you
great
guys got to
story.
do that. And I got to be there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. I have a lot, there's a lot of like things like that where like that one was a little more pre-planned where
Yeah.
I've just like coincidentally like been at someone's debut. Like I was at
Yes.
Evan Alexander Seymour debut in Little Shop. Just
Yes.
like I was
Cool.
so mad. I
He
was
was
like,
just
Chandler
there.
Jordan's out. Like,
And then you
oh,
got to
this
see that.
sucks. Right. And he was like
I
incredible. And
know.
I was on Instagram the next night. He posted, he was like, just made my Seymour debut. And I was like, I thought you did that 800 times. Like it
It's
was
amazing.
so
I
incredible. I
saw
love when
this
that
show
happens.
2 nights ago called Queens that's playing off Broadway.
Okay.
And all that you really need to know is that there's a lot of characters with very strong dialects,
Mhm.
Russian
Yeah.
dialects. And I didn't know until after the show that the woman that I saw as the lead actress, who I would say had more lines than I've ever seen in a show, was
Mhm.
an understudy, and she made her debut that night. Full, perfect Polish. Like
Yes.
it was actually insane. And I like spent the whole night being like, now that is a true superstar right there.
It's
Like,
even like
anyway.
more awesome too. Like there's been a couple times where I've like seen people and it's been their debut and they like haven't had like a put in yet. Like that just
Yes.
happened with the Outsiders tour. Like I saw it in Tulsa and like an hour before the show, Jackson Reagan was like making my Daryl debut tonight. And I asked him like
Awesome.
at stage door, I was like, how much notes did you have? Whatever. He was like, oh, it was like 15 before our call, which isn't a ton. And then he had posted later, he was like that he like didn't have a put in or anything yet. And I was like, that just makes it even more admirable to me when it's that early in a run to where there hasn't been rehearsals, there hasn't been put ins.
Yes.
Like it's just
Jackson Reagan is
incredible
amazing,
to
by the
me.
way. I know him,
Yes.
and I have a few friends who went to school with him, and he is.
Yeah.
Was he great? Wow, so cool.
I saw his Paul too in Tulsa. I went a couple times in Tulsa, but
So
I
cool.
gotta pull up in Chicago and I would love to
Yes,
see
definitely,
Minnesota.
definitely.
I have like I'm one of those annoying people who like I have like a list that's like here are all of the people that I've seen in every track and I have like a nice little checklist. Like
Yes,
I keep track of my swing goes. Like it's
that's
terrible.
awesome. Yes.
Um yeah, I guess we have a few minutes left on this. So I guess we'll jump
Yeah.
into we had a world really quick. If you want to give just
Yes.
like a quick kind of like TLDR, like playbill description of the
Yes.
show since it's a new show that
Yes.
people don't
Yes.
know.
Yes. We Had a World was it is such a special play. It's written by Josh Harmon,
Mhm.
and who is one of my favorite playwrights. He's a like very Jewish, very kind of queer, amazing playwright. He's written amazing a bunch of amazing plays. This one is the most biographical about his life.
Yeah.
Um, he before his grandma passed like 10 years ago, she said to him, you need to write a play about me and our family. And so the first scene of We Had a World is the grandma character coming on stage and saying, you need to write a play about our family. And from there it just kind of divulges into this really truthful and honest and very like he didn't change any of the names, he didn't change any of the
Yeah.
details about him and his family. A very
Mhm.
revealing look at like the way that he grew up, the way that he found his love for theater, and the relationship with his alcoholic grandmother, and his mother. It's just the three of
Yeah.
them. And so yeah, I joined the process because Andrew Feldman, who is one of my
Mhm.
best friends in the city, um, he was doing the play and he gave it to me to read because he was just like, I think you're gonna connect with this. Like,
Yeah.
I have a lot of kind of other personal family drama that is very
Mhm.
similar to the character. And so he
Yeah.
was like, I think you're gonna like this. And so I read it, and then this opportunity came around to cover him, and I auditioned. And honestly, I think he went to the director and was like, hey, you need to cast my friend.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one else that, and like, and so then I joined like about midway through rehearsals, and I got to go on, which was
That's awesome.
so
Yeah.
scary and crazy. Um, but yeah, it was a singular experience. I feel very lucky to have done that.
Yeah. Was there any, I mean, obviously you and Andrew are very close friends. I know that you guys work together on Dear Evan Hansen and you're just friends like in
Yeah.
life. But was there any kind of like pressure covering a role that like is played by, a name that people are presumably going to the show to see, or at least some kind of people? Like, was there any
Yeah.
kind of, just like that added stress of like, oh, people are here to see Andrew and like it's me, like, are
Yes.
they gonna like this and that kind of?
Definitely. Definitely, I think of course, there always is. I mean, I
Yeah.
felt that in Evan Hansen too, where it's like
Yeah.
they get the slip or they hear an announcement
Mhm.
before the show and they're like, "Oh, we're not seeing the main guy." But in the time that I got to go on, I knew a few days before, so I got to kind of
That's
honestly
awesome.
pepper the audience with all my friends, and like the show that I got to go on for was like actually a very I was more nervous to do the show with the two ladies because
Yeah.
so much of it rides on Josh's shoulders and
Mhm.
keeping the pace and momentum of the show. And I mean, doing it with Joanna Gleason, who is like an idol, and I mean, my first musical ever was Into the Woods, so I just like kind of
Oh,
idolize her, and I've watched that PBS video a million times, and so like it was very very full circle to like be calling her grandma on stage and getting to work with her. But I will say this about Andrew is that I do not know another person that would have been as number one welcoming, number
yeah.
two helpful, and number three just like unbelievably supportive. Like um we are each other's biggest champion. Like he is
Yeah.
honestly family now. He is like
Yeah.
I spend all of the holidays at him and at his house on like on Long Island. I'm seeing Wicked with him in 3 hours. Like he's just he honestly is family,
Oh,
um and so like to get to do this experience with him. And honestly,
yeah.
the biggest reason I took the job is we get to hang out every day. Like all we had our own dressing room. We played cards every single day. We are such nerds, and we were writing and doing all this other stuff on top of it. So it made the show a little less stressful because it was just something else that we were both doing. I think it was harder for him because he actually had to do the show. I got to like hang out during the nights. So but no, there is actually no one that I else that I would have wanted to do that experience with.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're filming this or recording this on a
Yeah.
Sunday. So I have one last question for you. Where
Yes.
on a perfect Sunday, where there's no self tapes, there's no callbacks, you don't have
Yeah.
to, go for a call. What does like just your reset day look like at the end of the week or the beginning of the week, however you choose to look at it?
Hmm. That is a excellent question. Hmm. It's funny because like yeah, I think I am someone who actually like really enjoys and loves a little project, a little something,
Yeah.
whether it's spending like an hour on Canva or doing my own stuff. I have this film that I just completed that we'll be talking about soon, and like um for me it would start the day with like a little bit of like stimming out on fake, doing all that kind of stuff,
Right. Yeah.
um working, being creative under my own terms,
Mhm.
writing, directing, whatever that may be. And then it's watching a movie, or I'm kind of obsessed with TV, like in like a kind of unhealthy way. Like I'm watching like 7 TV shows right now. Um, and and then just enjoying some sort of media, some like
Yeah.
being horizontal on the couch with my roommates, playing like video games sometimes, like just kind of like having a kind of huddle like inside
Yeah.
of my apartment. Um, that to me is a dream day. Actually, thankfully, that's exactly what I did yesterday. So that is like kind
Good.
of was an easy question because I was just like, what do I do? So that
Right.
is my and then
Nice.
eat whatever I
Yeah,
want.
please. Yes. That's important.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah. Thank you so much for coming
You.
on and chatting. This was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you, Ella.
Do you have
Thank
anything coming up that you wanna plug really quick at the end in the last minute?
Coming up, yeah, I'm doing a bunch of little workshops in the city. As I
Oh,
said, this film version that I've actually talked about before, so I'm not being coy about it, but I just finished a version of the last 5 years that we filmed actually over 5 years,
Oh,
and
awesome.
it is done. There's just a bunch of post work that we're doing on it
Yeah.
now, and making tracks and color correcting and
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff, and you know, um I have no permission to do that whatsoever, so I probably won't be out there for that long, but I, if you want to see it, I'll send it to you.
Right.
Um, but that I'm super excited about, and
Yeah.
we've worked really, really hard on that. So it's been yeah, that's kind of the next big thing.
Yeah. That sounds awesome. Thank you again and enjoy the rest
Thank
of your
you, Ella.
day.
Thank you.